Hi guys, so here's our first lesson. It is 1.1, adding integers with the same sign. Yours will say at 1.1, part 1, adding integers with the same sign, because we're going to do 2 lessons of this. So at the top, you can also see you have an I can add integers with the same sign, and I can is kind of like our goal that after we're done with all of our lessons and our practice that we should be able to say, yep, I can add integers with the same sign. So to start in our notes, you can see where it says key terms, and our key term for today is integers. So an integer is a whole number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. And it can be positive or negative. So then -1, -2, -3, and so on. So copy that down. And if it's too fast, this is what's great about this video. You can pause and copy it down at your own pace. So we're going to first start modeling with counters. And counters are anything we can symbolize positive and negatives, just so that we get an understanding of what exactly 3 plus 4 means. I know most of you can do that, don't get me wrong, but it's to understand what does it actually mean? What is the what of that? Okay, so we're just going to use plus signs and minus signs to represent our positives and our negatives. Okay, so 3 plus 4, 3 add 4 would be 3 positive signs. Start with 3 positive signs. What it means is to add 4 is that we would add 4 positive signs. And then our answer, or our simplified answer, would then be 7 total positive signs. Okay, and you can see my plus signs aren't great. They look like a bunch of T's, as long as you understand. Okay, so then we get 7. Okay, now not so bad when it's positives, but it's to make sure we understand what they represent when we get to negatives, or when we move on to adding with different signs. Okay, also tomorrow, or I should say our next lesson, we're going to be, our next section, we're going to be talking about adding with different signs. In our next lesson, part 2, we're going to talk about the rule. And so we need to make sure we understand what's going on before we can understand the rule. Okay, so modeling with counters for negatives, we're just going to put minus signs. So we're going to start with 5 negatives. We're going to add 3 negatives. And then to get our final answer, simplify that, we would say we have 8 negatives, because you can actually see that there are 8 of them. Not just this random number of -8. You can actually see 8 negative signs. So that's why our answer is then -8. Okay, again, anytime it is too fast, you just push pause and watch it again. You can rewind. So similar to counters, we have number lines. This is very common to use, and we just need to make sure we understand how to use it, and then what does it look like? So with the counters, we saw that we had all the same types. Okay, that's what's going to be in common. And with the number line, we're going to notice that something else. So for -2, we would start at -2, and we're going to add -5. So we're going to move 5 places in the negative direction. And so the negative direction is to the left, because that's why those numbers get smaller and smaller and smaller. No matter what, though, negative direction would be to the left, even if we started at a positive, because the numbers are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And we will end up at -7. Okay. So we went to the left, and even to start, we technically went to the left of 0 2 times. And so if you notice, just like with our counters, they were all the same sign, same symbol, positives or negatives. When we use a number line, you notice that they move the same direction as well, left and then left. So here's another one. Why don't you pause here and just start it yourself and see if you can do it, and make sure you are starting in the right place and ending in the right place. So it'd be a great place to pause just to try it on your own. Now that you have done it, so we would move 1 to the left, negative. Oh, missed my spot a little bit. That's okay. And then I would move 7 also to the left because it's negative. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I also move to the left. So you'll notice, even on a number line, they're the same direction instead of the same symbol, and we get -8. Same direction when it comes to number lines, and when we use counters, it's the same symbols. Okay, and this is similar. I do want to make sure you're doing the bumps for right now. Later, it won't be used, but just so that you can see the direction. So here's the end. This is just things to remember, or things for you to write down that maybe you would like to remember and that help you, or something you found interesting. So maybe you say, you know, on a number line, they go the same direction, right? So you could write that down. On a number line, all movement goes the direction. Okay, and you can write whatever is best for you. You don't have to always write something. And then the last thing is questions for class. So this is where you would prep questions that after the lesson or during the lesson that you want to ask me because you're at home watching this lesson. And you will either submit those after the lesson, or you can come to class with those. Okay, so maybe you say, you know, you can ask me, why are we using counters? All right, whatever you want to ask me. You know, maybe you didn't understand what counters were. And that way, when we come to class, you can ask me those questions, or when you submit them, I can address those questions. Okay, so that's it. If you missed anything or just want to rewatch it, what's great is this is a video, and so now you can.